Hello, John from Graybeard 3D is here. Today I'm going to be building the Railcore. Right now we're looking at doing a lot of prep work, mostly the heat set inserts and building some of the aluminum parts and maybe chamfering some of the tapped holes in the aluminum extrusions. I'll probably break this stream up into several parts just to kind of break it up for YouTube watching later. Although I'll probably do most of this build today and tomorrow, hopefully to complete it by Sunday. But yeah, go ahead and stay tuned. So we're here. Let me switch the view uh, over to my work surface here. Um, so what we're doing here is simply doing our heat set uh, inserts into the parts for the Railcore. Um, I believe I have enough of these because I have it came with the standard amount, and the standard amount normally you can't put the heat sets into the feet, but because I have the aluminum parts that the Alien 3D version comes with, I ended up with enough of these, just in case I do have some spares. I have here my Hacko soldering iron with a heat set insert tip on it. This tip, it's a cheap tip to add on, and I have the iron set to about 350, and I'm going to hope that's hot enough. And if you look at the heat set inserts, you'll notice that they have, like on one side they have a little taper for where the screw goes, and then on the other it's very flat, and that the flat side's the side you want to go into the plastic. While I do that, let me pull up the YouTube chat just to make sure I see what anybody is saying. So let's do YouTube. And haha, Del Slogos, hi, welcome for, thank you for joining. So welcome, and yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Um, can I pop out this chat? Let's see. Nope, that's a share button. And pop out chat. That way I can keep it on screen while I do this. So, all right. So as I said, one side is tapered for where the screw goes, and that's the side you want outward. And I'm just going to put it in place. I actually don't need the pliers. I'm just going to put it in place, and then use the tip of this. And you just hold it there for a second. Let the metal heat up some. You don't really need to press too hard, and it will start to sink in there. And I'm using the back of the build plate from the Railcore to do the press on this, because you want to set these almost all the way, and then at the very end, when you almost get there, go ahead and just flip it over. And I might have to heat the iron just a little bit more. 350 doesn't seem to be cutting it. And I believe that's Fahrenheit. All right, that's soft. So if you get it right, it should be flush. So let me set this iron to 450 and see if that helps. All right, okay, it's already at 450. I really like this iron. I've never had a nice iron like this before. So here we go again. And again, you just want to make sure your tapered side is up. Yeah, it's going in a lot quicker now. I'm still not getting it. All right, let's go to 550. All right, it's 550. Because I'm almost at the surface here, I'm not putting any pressure at all. I just want to transfer some heat into the brass insert. Let's try to get a better focus on that. Yeah, that's better. You do not have to put the inserts into the feet. It is an optional thing to do if you plan to add something to the bottom, like silicone or something to kind of give you some absorption. All right, almost in there. And again, just always check. Make sure you have that tapered side up. If you do it wrong, it's still going to work, but it'll be harder to get the screw in. How's the sound? Is it coming through okay? Does it need to be louder? So this is the bottom of the build plate. The bottom doesn't have the groove in it. This is the side the Canovo heater will go on. So I'm not too worried about any kind of like minor marks on it. But this is the flattest surface I own. So yeah, the build plate is really thick. It's really nicely milled. So it really is the flattest surface I have to do the press. All right, those are the feet. Next, these go to the control box, and these each get one. When you're looking at this, one side is skinnier than the other. You want to put the heat inserts into the thicker side, and they each get one. So check our taper again. And I'm not pressing hard, I'm just kind of letting the gravity do the work. Okay. Thicker side. Check our taper. So how are you doing today, Deslogos? Is that what it is? Deslogos? My reading comprehension issue. That's good. So as you can see, this is a pretty easy process. It just takes time. I was going to do this off camera, but if I'm going to sit here, I may as well just stream it. So yeah, the temperature's at 550. That seems to be working pretty well for this. I don't want to go nuclear on it. The soldering iron defaults to 750, which is great for soldering. Probably not so great for PETG. Okay, and this is the fun part. This thing gets 18 inserts, so that's quite a few. Every hole back here, except for these four big holes, gets an insert, and the odd shape might make this even more challenging. So we'll see. I think I'll just do it that way. Nope, that's not going to work. I'll do it this way. So 18 inserts is a lot. And after I insert each one, I feel it just to make sure that it is flush. Wondering if I should post this to the Railcore Discord. Maybe I will. Let me go ahead and post that. So those three are in there. That's pretty good. Let me get my link, and I'll do it with my phone. What's the best channel for this? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that's going to Discord. Get a few more people into the chat. Now what's this mean here? All right. All right. Oh, 5 down, 13 more to go. So this isn't hard at all. I started with the feet because if I mess up the feet, that really doesn't change the printer. And the feet are probably easier to replace than say this piece. So I use the feet as practice. And I did buy a set of these inserts because I think I'm going to use them on more of my 3D printing projects. It's a great way to add some better structure to your prints. That would be functional prints. should I say it? Not one error yet. Does that mean I'm going to mess up now? All right, so this is almost done. It's all but the 4 holes. You can tell those holes look a little bit different than these insert holes. Okay, let's see. We have those. That's 11. I think we're getting 2 here, 2 there, 2 there. That's 17, and then 1 here. So maybe we'll just do this one first. Go ahead. Good morning, Chris. How are you? Thank you for joining. So that was interesting. One of these was still hot. All right. Oh, yep, that's still hot too. So they hold their heat for a little bit. So do you guys have a Railcore yet? Have you ordered one? Or are you just thinking about one? Or are you just like watching people almost burn themselves? Good morning, LSXG. So I have the soldering iron set to 550, which seems to be a good temperature for this. It's not too hot, not nuclear, and at the same time it does go in pretty easy. And I'm mostly letting gravity take these in. And setting this using the back of my build plate. Fascinated by the Railcore. Yeah, me too. It's definitely going to be a ZLT. Yeah, I was thinking if I should have bought the ZLT. With my luck, my build would come detached from the bed at like 550 millimeters, and then all of a sudden it will become detached, and then what do I do? Yeah, it definitely is a wish list item, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I saw this one from Alien 3D, and while it is on a higher end of the price scale, uh, it is cheaper than if you were to buy it from Project R3D with all the same upgrades. Um, so you get some really nice features out of it, such as a lot of the aluminum parts and whatnot. I think I'm down to my last set, and then we can move on to the next part of this. So how long have you been working on the ZLT? Have you started the build? Oh, nice. Self-source is a great way to go too, um, especially if you just need to kind of spread out the amount of money. Self-sourcing is a really good way of going. And this one has the mosquito with it, and it has a lot of the nice aluminum parts. All right, I think that's all the inserts. Let me go ahead and kill this soldering iron. All right, so yeah, the mosquito. So I've never used a mosquito myself. I have it with this kit, and I'm looking forward to that as well. Uh, so this printer is going to be a lot of different kind of foreign territory to me. I do use a lot of Prusas, and so playing with the Duet, playing with the Mosquito, 300 millimeters, which of course Prusa doesn't have at all. All of these features are really nice. And then of course Core XY. So this is completely foreign to me. So we'll see how this goes. I'll try to, let me get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. Okay. And I shouldn't really need this. Got to move the camera just a little bit here to get this soldering iron away. All right. I have my nice shirt on. I print plastic crap. Okay. A couple weeks of gathering parts, waiting on the sides. So did you order the sides from Project R3D, or did you order from somebody else? So I have the aluminum extrusions here. I left them in the shrink wrap. I just kind of peeled away the top shrink wrap and then I tapped them all while they were in this configuration. I just felt it was easier to handle it that way. When I tapped them, I just used WD-40, and it was like 2 turns in, half a turn back, 2 turns in. So it was pretty painless. I never had to back the tap all the way out at any time to clear the chaff. The tap actually handled it just fine. And so this is probably going to create a little bit of shavings. Let me see if I can grab a paper towel. I still have to chamfer these. So yeah, after tapping them, you can feel it does extend up a little bit. So it does have a burr. So I mostly just want to remove that, just so it is flush again. So I have this this bit here. It's a 3 millimeter to something type of I forget what you call it, but basically it's just going to take care of that burr and give it a little bit of a. Let's make sure I'm on screen there. So let's see how that looks. So that's all it really needs. Yeah, their panels are nice. Really interestingly, I had my panels set flat in the box, but my bottom panel was kind of like on top of all the other stuff, and it was there for 2 weeks while I waited for more parts to come in. And it started to warp, just sitting there under its own weight. There was nothing on top of it or anything like that, but I guess because the surface underneath it was uneven, it just kind of took the shape. So I thought that was really weird. So I'd say when you get those panels, do your best to keep them flat until you're ready to build. So let's go ahead and hit these. And I'm not putting too much pressure. I really don't want to dig into these at all. I'm just taking off that burr and giving it a little bit of chamfer on it. So next set. And I do apologize if this drill is a little bit loud. So I don't know if I can get that on camera, but come on, camera. but it does get a little bit of help there, and that's just going to make the screw also easier to go in. So. And these were cheap cheap bits on Amazon. I really don't need much. We're doing soft aluminum here. You can see it's having no problem. I'm not even using the oil on them. So there we go. And that's both sides. All right, last set. Then we can go on to the next step. Aluminum bearing blocks for the CLT. Really? So you're not talking about the actual carriages that hold all the bearings, are you? You're just talking about something that mounts to the carriage? Okay. I don't want any metal shavings here. That would be a bad splinter. All right. So the other thing this printer came with are these. I think they hold up the Z-rods, and it was a kit. I was trying to figure out what all this does. So after looking at the instructions, looking ahead, I realized that I'm required to put these together because normally these are printed parts. Let's see. So the screws are just going to go into the top here, and it's just going to screw into these holes here. And that looks like that's all that it does. I don't know if it has to be a certain way, and I couldn't find anything on the instructions. If anybody knows, oh, it needs the blocks to stabilize in. So, maybe it's just supposed to be centered, or is it supposed to be a little bit off center? Maybe I can look ahead. Let's see. This would be under the Z bracket installation. Can't really tell from that photo. So it mounts like this, and maybe that puts it more equal. Or go unequal. What do you guys say? It really didn't come with any instructions on this. It's offset. Oh, great. Thank you, Chris. Or Cheeto. Sorry. Thank you, Cheeto. You just assembled it yesterday. You finished the entire kit yesterday? Let's find the right one here. I might not have a Allen this big with me. This is poor preparation on my part. All right, let me go find an Allen wrench that's bigger. Oh, bad form on a stream. Leave the channel. All right. My backup Allen wrenches. I have backups to the backups. if needed. So that's too big. Boy, I hope I have it. No. So what size is this? Is it a 4.5? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So it took a few hours to swap all this around, huh? And the 713 base plate. Are you talking about these? Or are you talking about the actual entire bottom that has that cool aluminum look to it? All right, let me grab my mega set of Allen wrenches. All right. I hope somewhere in this thing I have the Allen wrench I need. So maybe it's a US size, yeah. 9/64. I'm so used to metric. It's weird. All right, so offset. So like that. Yeah. Yeah, I thought those were hard to get. Now you felt you needed that to give better support for the printer? I saw some people put two braces on the base of the printer, and that just helps the motors because the motor is flexing the bottom panel. All right, so hopefully that's the right configuration there, and we'll go with that. Let me see. Might have done that wrong anyway. Watch me have to flip all this around after I get them all one particular way. Yeah. Now it's interesting. They also sent these other parts were included, and they did the mounting or the screwing in for me. So some parts you have to do yourself, and some parts come pre-assembled. There's the hole. Every time. So did you see this on the YouTube subscribe list, or did you see the Discord post that I made? I'm trying to determine the best way to get this information out about the stream. All right. So how long have you had your Railcore, Cheeto? And the follow-up question to that is, what other printers do you have, or have you owned? So it's pretty nice having all these aluminum parts instead of having the printed plastic. Um, all right, so those are done. I guess we can move on to frame assembly. Yes, please sub. So let me see here. Frame assembly. Okay, so I'm going to need some of my aluminum extrusions. I don't need this anymore. Oh, and my earpiece is dying. I have to switch. All right, sorry about that. Okay, let's find our extrusions. It wants two 460s and two 425s. So let's see, which sizes do I have here? So they were marked, but a lot of the markings I think wore off when I wrapped it, or when I did the tapping. So if I knew what the three links were, I could probably figure out which is which. Boom, boom, boom. Or I could go find a tape measure. Okay, so the last length is 415. So these must be the 415. So those can go away for now. All right, so I have the 460 and the 425. And I'll need these blocks here. Okay. Here's my chat window. All right, so sorry for that loud noise. I'll take 2 of each away. Set those aside because those will go on another part of this. All right, so the 460s, which are the longer ones, are front and back, and the 425s are the sides. And then you place a corner cube at each side. So let me make some room here. Don't need those Allen wrenches anymore. Okay. So he made a small letter on the top of each. Front, rear, front, right, back, left. A small hole needs to face the end of each rail, and a small hole needs to point down. Okay, so they're referring to these cubes here. They have 3 small holes, and then they have 3 large holes. The large holes are obviously for your driver, and the small holes are for the extrusion. So apparently you want it so the small holes are facing your sides there, and one is facing down, and that is pretty logical. So grab 2 more of these. And there. So when you're looking at it and it's all laid out, you should obviously see a large hole at the top. All right. So it's a little bit, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. So once you have it laid out, then you want to start attaching these, and they want you to start with the left extrusion. Now, do you guys think I should mark it like it says? Let's see, right here I have a marker. You think Sharpie will come out? A little Sharpie test. Yeah, it's kind of a pain to remove that. So. Actually, though, if I mark the outsides, they should be covered by panels, so I can do that. So I'll just do that. I'll consider the outside. So we'll do a left, do a front, do the right, and we'll do the back. Okay. So they do want, on the left side, they want you to take your piece and attach it with a M3 by 8. Let me find those. M3 by 10, 3 by 16. Where are my 8s? M3 by 8 button heads. So comes in this nice package here. And I should have the proper driver for these. Yep. Wow. So from orienting like that, so all I'm doing is lining up the orientation properly. So I end up putting my letter, my mark on the outside. So with this here, obviously it'll keep rotating because it's just held in with a single screw. But with this here, I have the top hole, the side hole, and the back hole there. And then I have my mark on the outside, so it should be covered by the panels, and then the mark won't be seen. And if anything happens, I guess I can scrub it off. Okay. Okay, so he says keep it on the top so it's consistent. Keep your mark on the top so it's consistent, but I'll keep mine on the side, and it will still be consistently different. All right, so I need some M3 nuts. So there we go, some M3 nuts. I think I'm going to need a crap load of these. And I think this is part of the power of using these rails is you can use these standard nuts to put things into the channels. So you just put the nuts into the end, and they want it on the top. So remember, my side has the mark, so the top is the other one. And I hope I don't confuse it later, but we'll see. So they want 8 of these in here. 4 of the 8 are spares. And these do fit in a particular way. If the nut is rotated a certain way, it's not going to fit in, and you might have to just rotate the nut a little bit. So that's 6, 7, and 8. I still heard, yep, okay. So we have all 8 in there. Okay, then it wants the M310 hex bolts on the outside channel. So it's M316, there we go. So M310 hex, when you get the kit, it comes nicely marked. And it wants it on the outside channel. So while I'm here, I'm just going to let these nuts slide down to the end, just so they're out of my way. And this is my outside channel because I marked my outside channel. And how many of these does it want? 5. So these are most likely to hold the side panels on. Although I didn't notice they have that many screws on them. So, okay. So that's the outside channel. Then it wants 4 M3 nuts on the inside channel. So again, this is my outside, that's the top. So this will be the inside. So let me see what I have here. Hey, Oh, you got your nozzle. That's good. Yeah. I shipped two things that day, and I think Sean practically got his uh, hot end that I rebuilt. He got that in like 1 day or 2 days. It went pretty quick. So four of these. Come on. There we go. So we have four in there. We have our five there. We have our top, and then on the bottom, it wants these 16s. So M316s. And how many does it want? Six. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these probably hold that the aluminum stuff I built just earlier. So these are the 16s, right? Yeah. Now these are actually Misumi um, extrusions, which are really nice. Um, they they specifically get the Misumi ones instead of somebody else. Yeah, so he did install it. He had to adjust his Z end stop a little bit. However, he was printing away, and from what I saw, his prints were because it's a point 0.6 nozzle, so he's printing at larger layer heights, and he's printing something that normally would take an hour and 20 minutes in like 20 minutes. It's pretty crazy. Um, I don't think I've seen an actual finished print from him yet, but he is having fun with it. So let's see here. Is this just a recap here? Yeah, I think it's just a recap. And finally, it wants the other cube attached to it. So let me get my orientation right and make sure I get this cube attached right. Actually, as long as it's somewhat right, it can rotate around itself for now. So um, that's going to be with one of these. And let me get that inside the hole. That did not work for me. Shouldn't matter. Come on. Go ahead and get started. Kind of hard to do this, keep it on camera, and line everything up all at one time. Yeah, hopefully he does have it on his stream tonight or tomorrow night. Sorry about that. Yeah, his stream last week was really cool. He did a virtual walkthrough of a house that they modeled up. Um, it's not really 3D printing, but I believe they print the models too. And the virtual walkthrough was, I thought, really well done. I don't know how complicated it is to make those things, but I thought it looked really good. Okay. So now they want the front and the rear attached to this as well. So yeah, this bit of the build is a little bit fiddly. Okay. And where are they? I already used. Oh, they're there. Okay. Let me see. Can you see this on stream? Not really. Let's try to get you guys a better angle here of what I'm doing. And that's right here. Just getting the screw started here. I wish this was magnetic. I might be tempted to go find a magnet. Magnetize my tool. Let me use gravity for this a little bit. Okay. Yep. Sorry about that. So I have it in there, and I'm just going to get it started onto this extrusion. Yeah, I was surprised at how small these rails are. So those side panels must do a lot of the work there on keeping the structure together. All right. Yep. And I think we're going to be putting more nuts and bolts and screws into this thing. So as a sanity check, we do have, let me go over to my OBS so I can see what I'm doing. We do have the 8 in the top. 4 of those are spare. You don't have to put 8 in the top. We do have the 5 screws out the side. And then on the bottom, let me see if I can show them, 16 millimeter M3s hanging out the bottom. And we have some nuts, 4 nuts on this inside rail. So let's move on. All right, so in the top channels of both, we're getting 8 M3 nuts again. So that's the top channel of the front and rear. And then on the outside channel, they're both getting 5 of the M310s, just like before for the panels. So we'll go ahead and get that going. So 8 up here. Be cool if there was like a little 3D printable nut hopper thing that would just load these up for you. Come on. Big fingers, and these nuts are small. 5. Hopefully 4 of these are spare too. Okay. And then the 10s go on the outside here. So 1. These are the 10 millimeters, and it's getting 5. A little bit easier to handle than the nuts. Okay. So that's, let me see if that's it, because I'll put this on just so they don't fall out on me, and then I'll flip around and do the other side. So let me check ahead a little bit. Yeah, so they don't want the cube attached yet. They want us to put on the linear rails. I don't know if that's, oh, I see why, because the linear rails slide into place. Okay. So I guess I'll leave it like that and then do the other side. Let me just slide all those down. And let's look over here. Let me see if you're lined up on OBS or not. So same thing. We actually don't need those parts for a long time now. It's going to be 8 of these on the top. Come on. They don't want to go in. There we go. Oh, great. Yeah, please check back. And I might be losing my audio again. I don't know why that headpiece or that earpiece only lasted like 30 minutes. They should last at least an hour. Two more over here. Maybe I'll hook up my. So I have a nice microphone. I'm just afraid it's going to be too far away from my mouth. But maybe I'll hook that up because if these little earpieces are just going to keep dying on me, it's a big waste of time. And one more. Okay, so I have 5 on the outside, and I have 8 nuts in the channel up here. And now we can do some linear rails. So yeah, thank you so much for coming out. Have a good day too. And I'll probably be at this a while. Like I said, I'm going to break this stream up into different sections. Although I'll probably just immediately continue another stream just to make it a little bit easier. When I do break it up, I'll probably do it when this earpiece dies. I'll swap to another microphone. Hopefully it'll be better. And where did my instructions go? Linear rails. So I don't know if you saw my other video. I did have a few problems with these rails. All right. You're going to have to let me know how this sound is because this is the MacBook microphone for right now. And when I stop the stream to take a little break, I'll have to go out and I'll hook up the big microphone. I just don't know if it's going to pick up my voice very well being farther away from me. So yeah, just let me know how this microphone sounds. If it's really bad, I'll maybe stop earlier. So I did have some problems with these rails, mostly just getting some of these guides were a little bit rough. If you do have a choice when you're getting one of these, consider getting the Masumi rails, or I heard you can buy the Highwind blocks, just the blocks for $30. So you could buy the rails from Project R3D, and go out and find the Highwind blocks and just swap the blocks. This one seems very good, so I'll keep that one there. And I have zip ties on this just temporarily, so while they were sitting on a table or something, they wouldn't. Yeah, this one's okay too. And it's sticking a little bit right there. So I'll put that in a maybe pile. I just want the best rails possible up top. That's a yes. So I'll use those two. Again, I just want the best rails possible on my X and Y. So if you do just have some rails that you either self-sourced or you got these Zealtech rails, some of them are going to be slightly better than others. Just find your best ones for your top and use those. So let's see here. Okay. All right, so they want some tape on this. Zip ties. Yep. Clip those off now. Now select 4 evenly spaced holes on your rails, the 2 on the end and 2 in the middle, and place 8mm button head bolts. So, where are my clippers? Clip these. So they want these. They want the guides taped into the middle. Maybe I'll do it. Thought I had tape in here. Maybe I won't tape it. Should we live dangerously? Okay. So these 8mm button head bolts are what they want in. So they want some on the ends, and then they want get a few more out. 2 more toward the middle. So maybe here and here, somewhat middle-ish. Okay, and we'll do the same over here. Yeah, that's what I thought. If you really want to be more exact, there you go. So I'll have 4 holes in between there, and there's 3 holes here. So that's for OCD people, like my wife. So let's see what else we have here. So we have that. Now loosely thread a nut onto the bolts, leaving a gap. So they do mention if your rails are thinner, you might need a 6mm bolt. I'm going to assume these aren't thinner rails because it is sourced from R3D. So I'm just going to go with this, and let's see if I can loosely thread this on without using a tool. A little bit of a pain in the butt here. That's very not loose. I'm just trying to get the nut down to the so it's fully seated on the threads. That's all I want, and that's my definition of loose. You don't want to adjust a little bit on it. You do want to get a few turns on it because that might be cross-threaded. Let me see. Because as you insert it into the extrusions, you could end up with maybe a quarter turn as the nut finds the proper orientation, and you don't want it to fall off at a quarter turn. So So yeah, so I'm just making that flush right there. So, nope, there we go. Okay, everything's in place. Get these 4 on. And I'll turn this around. So at this time, I mean, you can do it anytime because we're still open here, but you can put a little weight on the bearing and just see which side of the bearing rolls better, because believe it or not, that can also be different. Just put a little weight on there. It'll kind of simulate what the x-axis will do when it's loaded onto this. Yeah, these both feel really good. I have some that feel different. Okay. And I apologize for all the noise. My wife thinks she can build furniture.
You can't hear it.
The internet can hear it.
No, they can't.
And yeah, so this is where you need to get kind of like a quarter turn on these nuts. This one's falling off. So, of course, the last one's just going to give me problems. Okay, so that's in there. Let me do this. Okay. Carefully line up the rail, slide it onto the inside face of the back extrusion. Once it's fully on, use an Allen wrench to snug the bolts. They don't have to be tight just yet. The position of the linear rails is finalized later. The rail should start 25 millimeters from the right-hand end of each extrusion, which will leave 35 millimeter gap on the left-hand end. So it's very interesting that the way they show the drawing, but I'm going to say this side should be shorter, and we'll sort out the actual position later, but for now I'm just going to give them a little bit of a oops, should be one wider. And I am not tightening these much at all right now. I'm literally just waiting until it grabs. And simply because of the sheer number of them, it's probably enough to kind of keep that in place. Okay. Now we have the back end. Some of those nuts almost fell out. So let me lift this a little bit. Yeah, I know this is off screen for you. Hey, Sean. I just saw the chat. How you doing, man? I don't think he got the ruby nozzle hooked up, but he's interested in any prints you got, show him out of the hot end that we rebuilt. I don't know if I saw a finished print out of it yet either. Sorry for the noise if that's being picked up on audio there. Okay. Pull one more of these. And line it up a little bit. Same thing. I'm just going to snug this a little bit. Oh, you were up at 3 streaming? No, I didn't even really check YouTube today. I woke up and I had to work on finishing up a video for moving the MMU over to the Mark III, and then I started this thing, and getting this thing ready was a little bit headed to the grocery store. All right. Do they sell your tasty beverages at a grocery store over there? I know some states have it. All right. Okay, so I think we're ready for this next one, which is our right channel. And we're just going to go ahead and get our little button heads here. Nice. Yeah, I'll watch your stream probably today. I'll probably end up taking breaks from this. It can get old building all day. Alright, and that's just like this. So all we're doing right now is just we're doing the right side. So it's very similar to the left side where we're putting a lot of hardware in it. And so we're putting this end cap on it to kind of catch stuff from falling out. And then we orient it correctly. Where is my little R? Yep. So I'm just making sure my orientation is right because that's the orientation I'm going to use to insert the hardware. And let's see. Wow. Wow, really? So they want 13 M3 nuts into the top channel. And out of the 13, 4 of them are spares. Let's see, we might be running out of these nuts pretty quick. So, top channel. Get it on camera a little bit. You doing another stream today? Oh, cool. It's printing right now. So that 0.6 nozzle is working very fast, huh? All right, that's 5. If I can get the last one in. So I'm just going to slide these down a little bit. That way it makes any counting easier. I'll do them in groups of 5 and then do the last 3. And that's another 5. So I'm at 10. And 3 more. So are you printing everything at a 0.4 layer height now? Okay, that's all 13 in there. Okay, we need 3 16s for the bottom channel. So these are the 16s, and this is our bottom channel. Say if you're probably good at like driving directions, you'll be fine at this. A few pieces for now. Yeah, nozzle sped up by at least 2 times on the Tornado. Nice. That's awesome. M310s on the outside channel. Yep, and that's 5 of them. So we'll grab a few more of these. This is our outside. 1, 2. Like I said, these are a lot easier than nuts. 3, 4, and grab one extra by accident. 5. Okay. And M3 nuts on the inside channel for optional add-ons. So, and that's 4 of them. There's 4. All right, so we're loaded up there. Okay, now they want the front corner cube attached. That's one of these button heads. And that's the orientation there. I don't think orientation matters. Should be, no matter what, you should be able to rotate it in place, I believe. Okay. Let's see how my wife's doing on her furniture build. Oh, it's coming along. I'm being sarcastic. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Now they want everything just attached, so more or less we're just going to attach all this together. Yeah, I need to get my I need to magnetize this. So I'm making like a mental list of what I need to do for when I continue the stream, and one of them is to get a magnet. Another one is to get the better microphone so you can hear me better. I do have a new camera coming. It's going to be very sweet. It's going to make the videos look great. Unfortunately, it's one of those 2-day things from Amazon that takes 4 days. And I learned another lesson with Amazon too. If you order a bunch of little things at once and one expensive item, even though everything's shipping separately, they even make the cheap items require a signature. So now all these little cheap bits now have signatures required to them too, even though they're shipping separately. And that's really annoying to me. Look at this. Is that on camera? So when I mess up and fail, I want you guys to witness it. Come on. Go in. It's not liking the aluminum. Maybe the guy who tapped it did it poorly. That guy was me. Alright, there we go. Alright, enjoy. Boom, boom, boom. Bottom extrusions. So I think what I'm doing is setting this whole assembly aside, and then I work on the bottom. So part of that is don't lose my blocks. wonder if I can do anything to help that. I'm not thinking of it, so another mental note, grab some tape. I'm just going to set this aside. Okay. So we need the 460s and the 425s. 4 corner cubes. And a bunch of bolts and nuts and everything else. Okay. So front and back, left and right. I don't know, like they're not really saying to mark it. I guess since I'm here, I'll mark it. So we'll do the left, do the front, do the right, do the back. All right, so. So yeah, it's huge. Okay. Bottom left, attach a corner cube. So the corner cubes are the same again, except this time you want the small hole facing up. So that's really the only difference there. And we'll grab this, and we'll grab one of these. This is annoying. So I'm just trying to get these things to go in. I probably should get my, this is the rear, right? Yeah. I think I have a, because this is a ball head, which is great for getting in tight places, but not really the best for when you're trying to hold the screw on the end of the tool while you carefully guide it through a maze of holes. Why does this keep turning? Oh, it's done. Okay. Boom, boom, boom. Top channel. We want the 16s. We want 6 of them. Okay, on the outside, we want the 10s. So the hex 10s. Just like before, it's 5. So we have that now. So the 16s on top and the 5s on, or the 10s on the side. Okay, inside it wants 4. little nuts for optional things later. Okay, we got 4 in there. And on the bottom side, 1 M316. Oh, okay. Cool. So this finally gets a little bit different. So it wants a long one, 3 short ones, and this is on the bottom. 2 and 3. And it wants another long one. So there we have it. So that's the bottom, that's the inside, that's the top, and that's the outside. Now we got to put the other square corner on. Again, we want the little hole to face up. So go ahead and screw that on. And we just want to rotate it so the little hole is up and then the other little hole is facing toward the inside, which should be the same side that you have the 4 nuts on. Okay. Okay, now they want us to attach the back and the front to the corners. So same sort of thing. We're going to grab our little button head, cute little button head, and oh, see, I almost bit it there. This time it does matter because you want to keep that one facing up. So there we go. And our little hole is facing up. We're doing good. With the screws on the bottom, it's making it quite difficult to kind of do everything at once. Just trying to get this screw started correctly. I don't want to cross thread, so I think I have it. And I know it's very loose right now. I'm just going to leave it loose, get the next one started, and then I'll tighten both up. Cool. Pretty easy. And tighten this one up. Okay. Okay, same thing again. We just want a bunch of these hex bolts, 5 on the outside channels. So we'll do that. So outside back gets 5. Let's see if you guys can see this. 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Okay, and then on the bottom, we're doing the exact same thing we did on the other bottom. We're doing a long one, 3 short ones. Yeah, I'll just call them long ones and short ones instead of 10s and 16s. If you get the kit, you'll know what it is. And one more short one, and then a long one. Okay. You can place extra M3 nuts in the top or inside channel if desired. I don't know, it seems like we've been adding 4 everywhere, so if I run out, I'll just get more. I have spares on hand. And 4. Okay. Maybe I'll design a cover that covers these unused nuts. So I put 4 on both. It's cheaper to do it now than later. Okay. Let's see. I lost my chat. Oh, great. And that should be good. Okay, on the outside front channel, bring you guys up here. They want 5 of the short ones. So this is the outside. So it seems like if you're pretty good with directions, marking these extrusions isn't really necessary. If you can keep your kind of orientation in mind. So the bottom channel, okay, so they want the same thing. So a long one, 3 short ones, and then a long one. So we'll do that. So 1, 3 short ones. Another long one. All right. And same thing, completely optional. You can put, oops, almost lost that. You can put extra M3 nuts in. So I'll take the option. Who knows what the future will lead? I might need something in here. So 4, and we'll do 4 on the inside here. Come on. Sorry about that. And okay, so we're gonna build the bottom right side now. I need my cubes. Where'd my cubes go? Right there. So we'll put one on. Again, the same little M38 button head. I know I have a straight non-ball head, although it'll probably be too late. But after break, I could probably go find it and put it on. So, and so if I follow my orientation right, that's how it should face. Okay. So that's weird. So in the top channel, they want 3 of the 16s, but let's see, on the other one, just double checking here. Yeah, so the other side they have 6. So far it's been, oh, I know why it is. Okay, so uh, the left side is getting the 2 linear rails for the Z, so it has 2 motors, and then the right side has a single motor, so that's why it's half as many. So I just like to know why things are the way they are, so I know the purpose and how important it might be. So putting 3 of the long ones in. Let me get back to where I was in my spot here. On the outside, we're doing 5 short ones. So this holds true. Okay. On the inside, we put 4 and 3 nuts. Is that 4? Yeah, 4 nuts. And on the bottom, we do the long, 3 short, and long again. So long, 3 short, and a long. So I have something in every channel. And we can put on the front cube. So let's get this started again. Come on. And that's the orientation we want. So that goes to the left, and that faces straight up. And that also matches the other side of this extrusion. That's how you know you've done it right. So we have everything in there, and I believe we get to attach it now because there are no linear rails down here. Yep, so this all finally goes together. There we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. going to fully tighten that yet. I just want to get the other side on. Oops. Ha! So I had it all oriented correctly, and then when I went to put this on, I was so excited I got the screw in the hole that I didn't realize I put it in the wrong hole. There we go. Yep. So these screws are hard. Do not use a ball end Allen wrench for these. That's my note. There we go. Okay. So a little hole on top. Always make sure the little hole's on top. Let's get the back one done. Ah, got that one pretty good. Tighten both sides. So there we have it. That's the bottom. Everything's put together there. All right. Okay, so they're suggesting that you keep track of which one's the front extrusion by marking it. I did put an F on it, so I'm good. And that's just mostly, I think everything is equal except for these 6 screws over here. So you just want to keep the 6 screws on the left. That is the important part about the orientation here. Okay, so prop it up. Upright extrusion assembly. So we're going to use this bottom frame, and we're going to use the 415mm extrusions. We're going to use a couple button hood bolts, and then it looks like we're going to drop M3 nuts down there and some M310s down there, 40 M310s. Wow. So let's get our next extrusion. These are the 415s. I kept all these together while I was tapping them. You know, when you lose the end of your tape, it's like really annoying. It's probably time to sharpen the knife. Okay. Okay, cool. So step 1 is just simply to bolt these uprights into the corners, and that's again with these M3/8s. So I'm going to move one of these corners off my work surface here, just so I can work from underneath. So. Ooh. So it's getting tighter. There we go. Okay. And this side over here, we'll do the same process. This thing looks taller on Joe Mike's stream. Joe Mike. I've been watching his build. Dying to do my own, so here it is. Alright. I have to back you guys up because of the camera wire. Like I said, I do have a new camera coming, so I wish I had it on time for this because it is a very nice camera. It's going to look awesome. It's going to have better control of the light and a little bit more control over like the aperture, the depth of field. But when I have more control of the light, I'm going to be able to use better lights. I try to use my studio lights with this camera, and it just couldn't handle the lightness. Almost there. Okay. And the final one over here. Get this started. Make sure it's on camera. Oh, live stream mishap number one. Okay, so I spilled all the M310s everywhere. I accidentally grabbed the bag. So try to keep any more from falling on the ground. I do have a bunch of these if I lost any. I'm not too worried about it. It's more or less just picking up the mess. It's the bad part. So I need 32 of them. So hopefully I do still have 32 up here. Wow, I see a lot. Boom, boom, boom. One on each corner. So I did rotate this, so I'm gonna rotate this back around so the front is with me. Right now the frame is very wobbly. It's interesting. So I do have the front. So if you're building the ZLT, you want to put 7 bolts on the outside channels of the upright. However, 5 for the 300 ZL. So we're only going to do 5 in these. So front channel of the front left extrusion, place 5 short 10mm hex head bolts, and then the left channel. So, and it looks like it's just every channel on the outside of the extrusion here. So let me see if I can adjust this. So it's this thing right here. Let's see how that looks on screen for you guys, if anybody is watching. So right here, and we want all these on the outside. So let me get a bunch of these. So we're probably using up all of these. Oops. front. Okay. Just make sure I have 5 on both. And then we'll watch this one back here. Lower that. So 5. Yeah, so you guys can see me falling. Okay, on the outside. All right, this one. Back it up a little bit. I'll do the outside first. Where are we? Java, how you doing? Oh, you're sanding a coin sorter, huh? Did you see me spill all the nuts everywhere? That sucked. That's it's gonna be something I'm gonna have to clean up later. Is that 5? Yep. Okay, and the last corner. We are getting low on these things, so. I assume it's a 3D printed coin sorter. Yeah, I lost my marbles on string. Oh man, I could hear those things clatter all over the floor. They must be everywhere. So I think what I'm gonna do is once I have this thing kind of built as a cube, so once I put the top on, I'll probably take a break from there, fix some of the issues I have, like get a get a better microphone setup and everything else, and then perhaps clean up all these nuts and see how many I can rescue. But yeah, that was unfortunate. So if you want to be able to add things later to this, they're saying to add some M3 nuts. Okay, so what they suggest is four of these nuts. So these things here in each of these channels. So it's 32 total. Let's see how many I actually have left. It's kind of fun to put these in these upright extrusions. It's so much more fun than building the other side. I feel like I'm playing Connect 4 with somebody. Unfortunately, it's more like a Connect 1. That might be interesting. Make a Connect 4 game, but make it 4-sided, and then make it somehow like a 3-dimensional Connect 4. Just like how these upright extrusions are or something. You have to wrap around. Okay, so the coin sorter from Thingiverse. The good news is the audio setup makes them audible. Yeah, I'm sure it's annoying noise. Especially some of these screws when they slide on this aluminum, it must, for some people, be like the nails on a chalkboard. So, yeah, I've not played Connect 4 in years either. but it just kind of brings back a little bit of that nostalgia when you're building this thing, dropping these into the extrusions. Come on. And there's one that just doesn't want to go. Hey, it looks like I might make it with the nuts I have left, so that's good. Oops. Probably can't afford to lose more. Oh, it was audible as I hit the floor. Oh, good. I didn't want anybody to miss a second of that. I'm impressed I didn't burn myself when I was doing the heat set inserts. I usually end up with a burn or a cut or something, and so far this has been pretty accident free. All right, one more. Whew. I'm getting one of those. I don't know what it's called. It's like a control panel. It's got 6 buttons on it, and you can hit a button and it will like do a scene or maybe an audio or something like that. And I'm thinking of setting up some things like a little. I hit a button and it plays a little clip of like Homer Simpson going dope for the eventual failures. So he says, "Say hi to the wife because you were being heard by the internet." She might be sleeping again. Stream Deck, yeah, that's what I got. I got the 6 button one. The 15 button one looks cool though. I just don't know if I'm gonna get that much out of it. I only need a couple quick buttons. Attach the top assembly. Woohoo! So, I wonder if I should put the feet on now. I don't know. Okay. See, that's confusing. I guess it's true. Okay, so I didn't remember that the rails were front and back. I thought they were side and side. But it looks like the rails are front and back. Okay. I should have moved the camera first. This is interesting. And if I drop it, I ruin my bearings. So this is really tricky here. So let me try to move my camera to show some of what I'm doing up here. Let me try to move everything actually. Oh, I just heard, what is it? One of those nuts fall out of my shorts. Make sure my orientation is correct. I think I'm backwards here. So, good thing I did mark this. At least mark the front. Alright, so I have the front. I have everything lined up. Somewhat. See, this is going to be a real trick. really small needle nose to the rescue. Supported rail is the X, freestanding is the Y. Okay. So, I'm trying to do too much at once. This probably does need a helper. If you do build this, I recommend getting a helper. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing, like that. So, if only I had like a wife who wasn't sleeping. So, let me try this another way. I'm going to try this on the end closest to me because I can see that easier. And if I get one corner in, I'll be in much, much better shape. Come on, damn it. So yeah, the really tiny needle nose does help. All right, this is the tricky part. Oh, that might work. So I'm gonna put. Oh no, it doesn't work. Darn it. Let's see, yeah, it must be way off square or something. Is you know what it is? It's the screws under the extrusion is holding it up. It's warping the bottom, just having those screws down there, and because of that, getting this thing square is difficult. So, and that might be why they said to prop it up with spools or something else. Yeah, definitely find a helper for this one. Yeah, this is crazy. See, I don't want to let that dangle or my bearing will get lost. Let's try that. Okay. All right. So I got one in. I think that right there just makes everything easier because everything else can kind of be manhandled a little bit more. And let's get that screw in. Oh, I have another screw in there already from before. Let's get some of these excess screws out of the block. There we go. Things are starting to shape up. Everything's shaping up here. Okay, so we have two screws in. The last two should be pretty easy. It's getting pretty stable now. So I'm gonna pop this into the hole. Get the tool on it. Yeah, so if you build this, at that specific step, get a helper. Don't do it how I do it. Especially if you don't tape your blocks down, because you're at complete risk that they're just going to fly off and you're going to lose those bearings too, and you don't want to do that. So but I show you, it is possible to do it without a helper. Maybe if you don't have a helper, or maybe if you're like me and I do a lot of my building and stuff at night when everybody's asleep. Should I rotate that camera for you? You guys want to see me struggle on all of these? Here we go. A magnetic tool would help you a lot too at this stage. It would make this a lot easier. All right. Woohoo! So now they tell you can optionally remove one bolt at a time on every corner cube and add a little Loctite. Oh yeah, guys. Z brackets. I wonder if I have Loctite. I think I do. The bearings are 332 G25s, I think. Ask JMT, and ES120 seems to help as well. What is it, ES120? I don't know what that is. I do have the 332nd bearings. I bought a bunch. I actually rebuilt one of the blocks with one, and it seemed to run a little slower. Like it was smooth, but it ran a little slower, like the bearings were just slightly different in size. Maybe a little tighter. But what is it, ES120? Oh, electric screwdriver. Yeah, I saw the electric screwdriver he was using. I don't know if that would have actually helped the situation. My problem wasn't necessarily the fact that I didn't have power on it. It was being able to hold the bit in place while I did that. So yeah, I might go ahead and do all these Loctites and call that. Let me see what else is coming up. So next are the Z brackets. So and those seem pretty simple. And Z rails. All right, so what I'm probably going to do now is just go ahead and stop the stream. I'll start it up in a little bit, but right now I just want to get the other microphone set up. Find some of the stuff I still need, like a magnet, some tape, and some other items. And I'll start the stream up later on today. My plan is to try to have this built this weekend, so we'll see. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Let me see where my OBS studio is. And let's go to this. So again, thank you everyone for watching. I've been having a great time building this, although there's been a few mistakes there, here and there. But yeah, please tune back in later today. I should be moving on to the next part of this process, which it looks like the Z assembly, and then move on to the top assembly too. So we'll see if I get it all done today, or if some of this moves into tomorrow. So thanks again. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I appreciate everybody for coming out, and I'll talk to you in a little while.